Antarctica is where there is old ice. There's sort of this decades-long history of using ice cores to interpret climate. It's cold and windy, and at its best, it's not a pleasant place to be. It's incredibly beautiful, however. I mean, it's sort of breathtakingly pristine and clean.
When you go to the, say, Walmart, you pick a bag of ice, there's not many bubbles in it. And then you take an ice from Antarctica and say, wow, where are those bubbles coming from? But one day, a bunch of French scientists went to visit a Russian Antarctica station, and they had a small cocktail party. So as a form of celebration, they take some recently drilled ice and then put them into the cocktail glass. And the magic happened. It starts to bubble. So at that point, one French scientist realized, wait a minute, this must be ancient atmosphere that got trapped in the ice.
Use that stuff to inform essentially what the climate and what the atmospheric chemistry looked like in the past, and how that related essentially to changes in Earth's climate, and particularly the ice ages that we've had kind of every 100,000 years for the last approximately million years.
We're taking a slightly different approach. So instead of going deep in the spot where the ice is thick, we find a place where the ice is moving towards the mountain. So what used to be very deep inside, because you have a mountain that's get pushed upward. So these kind of dynamics give you access to what used to be very deep ancient ice near a shallow surface. So you can just drill, say, 200 meters and get very old ice.
We have measurements that go back, roughly, I believe, 2.5 million years. And so what's exciting about that is that's much older than we had anticipated it going, and certainly goes back far enough to look at some of these issues related to either the period of the glacial cycles or back to kind of Earth's warmer world.
An ice core itself is maybe like that big. The tricky part is that it's like really long. It's better if you can get them out of the field fast. So we would have planes come out and we would load giant crates onto the plane, and then the plane would take it back to McMurdo and they would store it in the ice core facility. That ice core then has to get loaded onto an ice breaking ship that comes once a year and get taken back to America and then flown to the National Ice Core Processing Center in Colorado. At which point, Eugene flies to Colorado, cuts up the ice, takes it to California, and measures it.
You take a bunch of records and then you can interpret them as climate history. That's where I became fascinated by this magic. The biggest discovery is that, there is 2 million year old ice. And I think that's itself is a pretty amazing discovery. And I think people have been hypothesizing about how old you can get in Antarctica in terms of retrieving old ice. I definitely want to go back again to get more, maybe not in the same spot, but in different regions.